Welcome back. We now focus on a very important topic that affects many Namibian consumers, that is short-term loans and microlenders. Now, the Namibian Financial Institution Supervisory Authority, NAMFISA, has issued a strong caution for all consumers to engage only with registered microlenders. Unregistered lenders operate outside the law, exposing borrowers to unfair practices, excessive fees, and limited legal recourse. To help us understand what this means, we are joined telephonically by Junias Erasmus, NAMFISA Consumer Education Specialist. Good morning, Mr. Erasmus, and thank you so much for making time to join us this morning.
Very good morning, sir. Thank you very much for having me once again.
Now, let's perhaps start, Mr. Erasmus. Many Namibians use short-term loans for urgent financial needs. Can you explain what a microlender is, why is it important to ensure that they are registered or one does business with a registered microlender?
Well, thank you. So, and allow me to greet all the viewers, all the consumers throughout the country. So, well, a microlender is an entity that provides small, short-term loans to consumers. So, under the Microlending Act. So, all microlenders must be registered and supervised by NAMFISA to operate legally. So, legislation ensures that lenders comply with legal requirements, including fair interest rates, proper loan agreements, and responsible lending practices. So, using unregistered lenders exposes consumers to unlawful practices and excessive charges and the risks of losing legal protection. So practically here we are referring to consumers where they are being charged, for example, NAMFISA only allowed 30% interest rates. So, but you will find some consumers are charged 50%, imagine 50% of what you have borrowed. So it's illegal, it's not allowed, and we are really encouraging consumers to come through with this information to us so that we protect them.
Okay. Talking about this with regards to the caution that you are giving, especially with regard to unregistered microlenders, what are we seeing on the ground that led to you maybe, prompting this warning? And in terms of specific requirements, what does the law impose on these registered microlenders? For instance, you talked about 30% is what is expected to be charged and not 50%.
Well, there's quite a lot really out there. As you know, the Consumer Education Department of NAMFISA goes throughout the country to educate consumers about their financial rights and responsibilities. But registered microlenders must operate transparently and fairly. They must clearly disclose interest rates. They must clearly disclose the repayment terms upfront, meaning before a person signs. And they can only charge the amount permitted by law, and like I rightfully said, which is 30%. So they cannot retain personal documents like bank cards, pins, cars, or anything else as collateral. So they must also provide proper loan documentation and treat borrowers respectfully and ethically. So any lender operating outside those requirements is acting unlawfully, and consumers are advised to avoid such lenders. Okay. So we have the complaints department at NAMFISA, and that is giving us, we see quite a number of people coming through that are complaining to say, these people have most or similar cases. This is the reason why we come out to say we need to educate our consumers about their financial rights and responsibilities.
Talking about that, especially from a legal point of view, what are the requirements specifically to meet in order for one to be a registered microlender and to operate legally in Namibia? We know that many consumers may not realize they are dealing with an unregistered lender. How can the public verify whether or not a microlender is registered with NAMFISA?
Well, the consumers should always verify a lender's registration status before borrowing. As one of the requirements here, we are saying all the NAMFISA registered lenders, they must show the NAMFISA certificate to all the consumers. It must be there on their wall as you enter their businesses. But this can be done on the NAMFISA's website also. We have also provided this information to all the consumers to say, if you want to see if the lender is registered with us, we provide this information on our consumer education website, so which maintains an updated list of all registered microlenders in the country. If a lender cannot prove beyond reasonable doubt that they are registered with us, or pressure consumers into quick decisions, or refuses to provide a written agreement, so those are red flags. So borrowers should report such cases to NAMFISA immediately. Okay. So alternatively, the consumers can also try to give us a call, and then on 0800, which is a toll-free number, 0800, so 290-500 during the office hours, and then we'll take it up and see how we can assist the consumers when they have problems with the lenders.
We know that in many cases, borrowers are often drawn into quick cash and minimal paperwork. Let's talk about the risks that consumers face when borrowing, especially from an unregistered microlender. Are there any risks involved, especially for the consumers?
Well, the borrowing from unregistered lenders expose consumers to a number of risks that include the excessive fees. Like I said, sometimes we have consumers that are being charged 40%, 50%, 60%, because they literally just put whatever amount that they want. So, and that is not legal in this country. So, meaning it's not legally kept. So, we as NAMFISA, we have only allowed consumers to be charged up to 30%. So, as per the consumers' protection, as the Microlending Act. So the abusive and unfair debt collection practices, including the harassment. So you find, of course, them exchanging words, and which is not really right between consumers and the lenders. So, and then it is now becoming difficult for NAMFISA to come in to protect such consumers, meaning the borrowers have limited recourse mechanisms when they are exchanging such words with the lenders. So the Microlending Act exists specifically to protect consumers and ensure responsible lending. So engaging with registered lenders safeguards consumers' rights and financial well-being. So we are really encouraging to say the consumers must do their best if they want NAMFISA to step in and protect them. They must also do what we call their financial responsibilities to make sure that they are engaging with the registered lenders.
Very well. For sure, we're running out of time, but before we let you go this morning, perhaps, in terms of this unregistered, besides the unregistered lenders who obviously are using, aggressive recovery methods, what protection is there for consumers, especially when it comes to when borrowing from registered, vendors? We've seen perhaps maybe there are those, those who use aggressive methods. How are consumers protected? The issues of interest rates and fees that you also talked about, that, they are regulated. How then can consumers know that what they are being charged is perhaps excessive in terms of the loan repayments of what they are borrowing? And what advice would you give to Namibians, especially seeing that we are in a new year, so that they can be able to protect themselves when borrowing from microlenders?
Well, I advise consumers to borrow responsibly and to please verify the legitimacy of microlenders before they borrow. All this information is available on our website, or they can call NAMFISA on our toll-free number so that we can give them the correct information, the valid and reliable information. So consumers are really advised to only use lenders registered with NAMFISA and always read and understand the terms of agreement. Avoid lenders who pressure you or report them to us. So responsible borrowing starts with your very own self as a consumer. So it starts with choosing a legal, complaint, regulated microlenders so that consumers who are informed and cautious are empowered to protect themselves from financial exploitations.
Well, Mr. Erasmus, thank you so much for making time to speak to us this morning.
So I thank you very much, sir. And I just want to tell all consumers out there to please visit our consumer education website for a list of registered microlenders before taking any short-term loans. And remember, they need to remember that responsible borrowing starts with informed decision. So our toll-free number again is 0800-290-500, or they can send us an email, complaints@namfisa.com.na. So with those information, I thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much for making time to speak to us this morning.